are now tuning in to the Core Focus Podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome back to episode 2 of the Core Focus Podcast.
We're your hosts, Liz and Rye, and today's Core Focus will be focusing in on Juneteenth.
Yes, so I'm personally really excited about today's topic since Juneteenth is coming up this Sunday. So the question that we're focusing on for today's topic is going to be, what does it mean to be Black? And independent, if you want to add that in there too.
Right. So I think to start off with the whole focus on Juneteenth, I think it's important to ask ourselves, what is Juneteenth? What's the purpose of Juneteenth? Mm-hmm. So in your own opinion, or from what you know, what is Juneteenth? Okay,
so from my, understanding of my own history or just things that I've learned, I would say Juneteenth is the celebration of acknowledging that the slaves were emancipated. So basically celebrating the fact that that our ancestors were finally able to recognize that they gained freedom.
And it's not only that they gained freedom, but the specific date, June 19th, I believe it was 1865, 1865, that's when they were notified that they were free. Mm-hmm. They were actually freed in 1863. Mm-hmm. That was 2 years before. So they went a whole nother 2 years and not knowing that they were freed. Mm-hmm. And so I believe that was that's a significant part of our history. It's just knowing that they were able to withhold that information for so long because they still wanted us for their personal use. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of reflective still to this day, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And what's crazy is it was even acknowledged as a national holiday until 2020.
Probably.
2020, yeah. When the riots started.
And I remember, I think at least from my own perspective, like when you think about Juneteenth, we're like, okay, like we finally kind of have a holiday that we can celebrate for ourselves. And when you think about like Black History Month, it's like, okay, we have like 28 days. But then I think Juneteenth is so like, significant, because it's like we actually have a whole day dedicated to just like our history in a way, and like us finally being able to reach that sense of freedom, and to a certain extent, even though like technically we had it 2 years before, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm. Do you think nowadays that the 4th of July still has the same effect that it does when we talk about Juneteenth?
For me, those are two completely different things. Like, when I think about 4th of July, I'm not really thinking about, like, our freedom, because we weren't necessarily, it's not very much freedom for us to celebrate in that sense. So for me, like, Juneteenth is our 4th of July, because it's like we're able to celebrate our own emancipation, I guess, like, physically, in a sense, because we're still kind of we don't have the same sense of like freedom mentally or emotionally in a way, just by like all the things going on in the world. But at least we're able to celebrate like that legally. We're actually finally free.
Right. I feel like 4th of July, it just doesn't hit the same as it did as a kid. It just doesn't.
Just fireworks.
Yeah, just fireworks and party.
Yeah.
To me, I just think it's now just the anniversary of the establishment of the country. I'm not thinking about the freedom from British control and all that crap. I'm thinking
the country that we helped build, or that our ancestors helped build.
Yeah, I'm thinking it as the date we finally said that this is a country. Mm-hmm. But as far as the people, I feel like Americans wasn't freed until Juneteenth. Mm-hmm. So, and speaking of celebrations and whatnot, how do you plan on celebrating Juneteenth?
My family. So I think my family makes a holiday out of everything.
Everything.
Literally everything. It could be like our great cousin's birthday, and we're just still gonna make a holiday out of it. I don't know, but for Juneteenth, specifically, I feel like we just celebrate by like coming together. And I see a lot of people like on social media, you know, people are quick to like post Happy Juneteenth, and like I don't know, I don't think people really acknowledge the history behind it. So for me, and I didn't really start celebrating Juneteenth until like quite recently, until I kind of learned what it was. So I try to celebrate by like educating myself on the history of it.
Right. You know, I did see something. There's this event going on in LA. It happens every once a month. It's called Black on the Block, and I know that they're having their next gathering. Well, they're having the gathering in May, but they're having another gathering on Juneteenth, actually, I believe.
Should check it out.
So, and I believe it has lots of Black vendors. I think in like all different types of categories like clothing, food, whatnot. Have I showed you about that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, Black on the Block. Check that out. Definitely a cool Black experience event to go to, especially to celebrate Juneteenth. That's happening. We'll go ahead and put the plug in. But yeah.
Support Black businesses. Definitely.
So going forward, how do we continue to shed light on not only just Juneteenth, but the Black experience going on in not only, you know, in our everyday communities and everyday lives?
Talking, engaging. I feel like it's not really like our job as Black people to necessarily like educate others. Like it's not my job to tell you about my experience, but at the same time, I feel like it's important to like kind of educate non-Black people about certain experiences that we have, so people can just become more aware of the experiences that we have, of our history, because a lot of people only, you know, we only really know what we know in grade school, or what we learn in grade school, what we learn in elementary school and middle school, and that's obviously to a certain extent. So I feel like just being there to kind of talk about your personal experiences helps shed more light to like the Black community overall.
Gotcha.
What about you?
Yeah, it's like you said, like it's not up to us to educate. I definitely agree with that. You know, that's not our job. It's not our role. You know, that should honestly be a fundamental thing. It's part of the history. It's not just Black history. It's American history. It happened in America. It's American history. Juneteenth is an American holiday. The separation, the labeling, you know what I'm saying, it's a holiday. For me, it's just I continue to, or I won't say I continue, but I'm trying to make it a habit of shining a light on more, not only just not Black things, but like, you know, like Black shops and Black stores, Black owned businesses. You know, whether it's clothing, I'm trying to look for more Black owned clothing, Black owned brands. Thank you. You know, eat from Black owned restaurants. You know what I'm saying? And it just, there's so much that you can do to support one another, especially in a community like Orange County.
Definitely.
It's super important that we uplift our brothers and sisters no matter where we are. And that's why I feel like that's where you can really start by celebrating the Black experience.
Coming together in your own community. And even, you know, numbers like obviously are significant, but even if you're in a community where like the Black population is really small, like you just hold on to those people from your community that you are kind of able to relate with, and you have like the same background or same history, because I think that's how we become more powerful in a sense, and just being able to engage with one another, especially be there, because it's not always easy when we're living in the predominantly non-Black world, so or society, honestly, I'll say. But yeah, before we stop or go on, it's time to shift our focus.
That's right. It's time to shift our focus.
we mentioned this segment or this new segment in our previous episode. So this is a new segment we have. So I think it's time to shift our focus before we continue on with some of the questions.
All right. Would you like to do the honors?
Oh, okay. I did it last time. Okay, let's do it again. Let's see. Oh, okay. This question says, if a movie was made of your life, what genre, would it be, and who would play you?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. My genre would be a drama. Because my life is full of ups and downs and lefts and rights in a good sense. And I would have to play myself because I don't think anyone else would be able to play my role of everything going on in my life. Or it could be an action film too, a comedy, maybe a comedy and a drama mixed together.
Mine's a action romedy. No, action. How do I put it together? Not romedy. Action comedy. Action dramedy.
Okay.
Dramedy. That's what I meant to say. Not romedy. Dramedy. Action. A lot of bit of action. A lot of bit of drama. A little bit of comedy. Okay. Not a lot of bit of comedy.
Okay. Okay. Who would play you?
Who would play me? What do I want to play me?
That's what I'm saying. I can't think of someone that could play my role as good as I could play it.
I feel like I'll pick Chadwick Boseman. I'm not even gonna lie.
To play your life?
Yes.
Okay. Why would you choose him?
He's a good actor.
He is.
He's a good actor. He was good. He's a good actor.
Okay.
That's terrible.
All right.
That's a little dark.
All right. Okay, let's get back to our questions. We'll only shift our focus for so long during these episodes. Oh, goodness.
All right.
Next question.
Back to the question.
Oh, Lord.
So I have a good question here. Do you think that we were educated enough about Juneteenth? Why or why not?
Definitely not. And this definitely plays into the fact that we're in Orange County. And personally, like me growing up living in Orange County, I was simply told about I don't even think I was told about Juneteenth, honestly. Like all I learned about in elementary school was Nat Turner's Rebellion, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, and who freed the slaves. That's honestly about it. And even that was like a mix-up. But I never was really educated about Juneteenth. So that's why I was saying earlier, like, I didn't really get to celebrate it until I got older and really started to learn what it meant and why it was significant for our community. But I think it's, especially when you're growing up in, like, a predominantly non-Black community, it's important to, like, educate yourself if you do have those resources. Yeah.
I would say, in regards to, like, the education system, absolutely not. Didn't know that was a thing until I was doing the 100 Black Men program. And we had the Juneteenth celebration every year. And so luckily with, my parents instilled that in me, still the importance of being Black and all that good stuff. I was able to be educated about Juneteenth, but just not through the education system, which is fine. I was blessed enough to receive that information, those resources, you know what I mean? But I do think lots needs to be changed about the way Black history is being taught in the education system, not just during Black History Month, not just during the certain celebrations not during like Martin Luther King Jr. Day or whatever, saying, why do we take the day off? No, you know what I'm saying? Like that should be part of the everyday lesson plan is what's going on when George Washington was, what you call it?
The truth
we know the truth about George Washington.
And I think like our history being told by people that that don't resonate with our history is also so important. Basically meaning like, I think it's so important for us to be educated about Black history by Black people. Because I don't really think although some people really do take the time to like be educated about our history and go to college and become professors of, African American studies and stuff like that, I feel like you're able to resonate more and just actually grasp that education when you're being taught about your history by someone a part of your community. So I think that's something important in the education system too that needs to be changed.
That's good.
If you all have any other questions that you would like for us to discuss about Black life, about the Black community, or anything of that sort, or any questions or other topics, of course, that you have that you would like for us to talk about in our podcast, be sure to email the email on the screen, corefocus@corchurch.org. And of course, if you'd like to be a part of the podcast as well, definitely let us know that too.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us on today's episode. I don't know if did you already say? Be sure to follow us on.
Be sure to follow us on our Instagram, Facebook, and where you're watching this now on YouTube. Share, like, comment, email, all that good stuff.
Man, you corny.
And have a great Juneteenth, however you choose to celebrate, whether it's with family, with friends, picking up a book,
Power
whatever
to the
you
people.
choose to do.
Yeah. Power
Make
to the
sure
people.
to celebrate. And Black Lives Matter. I thought we were gonna. Black Lives Matter. Support Black-owned businesses.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.